Hello, this is Survival-gyver, and today we're taking a look at the NiteCore EDC27 UHi. This is a very bright 3100 lumen on max or turbo mode. One of those thin, narrow flashlights. So before we get into more of the specs on this, I want to make an official apology to my friends over at NiteCore. Typically, a turnaround time is about 2 to 3 weeks for my reviews. And however, for the majority of August, I was sick. I had family come over from up north. I'm sure one of them got me sick, and I've been fighting with bronchitis for the past few weeks. So my voice is still not 100%. I'm still coughing and such, but I am getting better, so I'll be able to finally catch up on all these reviews. So my apologies for really not saying what was going on. It's rare that I get sick, but when I do, it's usually pretty bad. So anyway, let's take a look at this EDC27 UHi. So, unlike previous models like the 25 series, the 27 has an OLED display. It still has the semi-lock, which is lock 1, and full lock, which is lock 2, which I still fight with. It's not an issue with the flashlight. I just have a very low attention span, and I get frustrated with trying to figure out which position the switch needs to be in to unlock it. That's my fault, not theirs. Unlike the earlier model, this has two position switches, while the other one only has 2 switches in total. So what do I mean by a 2 position switch? So you have power and mode, and power can go down one spot, then you can press it for 2, and it'll go through things like voltage. See, there's semi-lock 1. And semi-lock 1 will allow me to be able to get to turbo, which is 3100 lumens. And, that's a half press. Gets me to turbo. And strobe if I press it all the way down. So that's the 2 positions on the mode button. So, if I remember how to get the lock off. Of course I don't. There we go. I have to double half press the on button. So right now you see I got 43 hours and 43 minutes on the low 15 lumen mode. And as it goes down, it will obviously take up more power, and of course the time will drop. So I press that again, so it shows 15 lumens. If I hit it again, I hit 65 lumens for 11 hours. Hit it again, 200 lumens at 3 hours 11 minutes. And just so you know, my hand is getting hot in this position. Level 4 is 1100 lumens for an hour and 15 minutes. Now if I decided to double click it to turn it off, it will save. It has memory, so it will save wherever you left off. It'll go back to that mode when you unlock it again. So I'm going to go back down to 15 because my hand was starting to get warm. So now it's 39 hours and 50 minutes. I get that to load. Now you'll obviously see a little, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but there should be a line, like a refresh rate going on. It's the refresh rate between the OLED and my camera. So you may see a line moving at that. In real life, you don't see the line because it's fast enough that you can't tell as a human, but because the camera sees at a lot faster rate, refreshes at a much faster rate, you'll see it in the video sometimes. So again, if you want to go to turbo mode, I'm going to hit the mode button, and you can actually see, yeah, I can't hold it that way. Let me, it's hot. 3100 turbo, and you can see how much power is remaining when you're running in turbo mode. Obviously you can't see the light because it's in the background. When it turns off, shows power remaining. It brings itself back up, which is a bit of a cooling period. And now I'm back to 15 lumens. And if you long press on the mode button, you get Strobe, which is also 3100 lumens. Obviously, I'm not going to keep that on for too long. And it says in the front, let me turn this off. Long press, there we go. Now it's in semi-lock 1. I don't have a temperature gauge with me, but I cannot hold the front of this for too long. You can hold it on the sides, on these little grippy sections. So that actually helps keep your fingers cool, because it does get really, really hot in the front if you run turbo mode for a long time. And you can actually wipe out the entire battery on it if you use turbo mode like 15 times in a row. It will take up all the energy that it's stored in its battery. So let's have a little discussion about that, shall we? So this uses a Type-C charging port, so input, right behind this little rubber cover. The battery is a 1700 milliamp hour battery. Once it's fully charged, you can achieve a maximum runtime of about 55 hours in the lowest mode. Additionally, it can withstand impacts up to 1 meter. It has some kind of waterproof amount. I do not know the rating off the top of my head, so my apologies on that. It does have a temperature regulation, so if it does get too hot, it will turn off or will dim the power. And there is a proximity, so if you really hold it up to something, see, that's actually getting better now. If you hold it up to something and it really heats up the front, it will turn off. It does, I said, it has 2 lock modes. So you have semi-lock, which is this one, which allows you to still be able to use the 3100 lumen and the strobe. And the full lock will lock you out of all the features, so you cannot accidentally hit the button to turn it on. I'm not going to go into full lock because I have a hard time getting it out. Again, that is my fault, not the fault of the flashlight. Between me being too impatient and being easily distracted, I guess, a little on the ADHD side, I have either trouble remembering or I just get too impatient and just mash the buttons. I do like how the buttons are, these are like a hard plastic instead of rubber. I would have probably preferred rubber ones like the 25 model had. I mean, these definitely look nicer, but they're a bit on the slick side. So even though they're textured, it's pretty easy to miss which one that you're on. Also, just so you know, it's got a nice steel belt clip on the back, or pocket clip. Okay, that's the emitter side. And it tells you on the back here, 3.7 volts, 1700 milliamp hour, 6.29 watts. Max current charge is 1.7 amps. Max discharge current is 10 amps. Now, this is the only thing that I do not like about this flashlight. And I'm not talking about the locks, because the locks do drive me crazy, but that's my fault, not the fault of the flashlight. The 25 model has instructions on how to remove the lock. Here's the 25, and you can see on the back there that it has, for half lock and full lock, and how to unlock it. I wish it had that on the back of this, so I don't have to keep looking at the instructions or fiddling with it until I possibly break something. And I don't know if you can tell, I have dropped it a couple of times, whether on accident or on purpose, because I do test it before I drop them. So there's a couple of scuff marks here and there, but other than that, it's actually really nice. If you're wondering, you cannot swap the case between the 27 and the 25, just in case you're trying to get something a little bit different out of it. I like the case on the 25, but the screw holes do not line up, so you cannot swap them. Obviously, you'd have to adjust all this up here. I believe the clips are the same, but like if I wanted to get the buttons out, I don't know if I could swap them over, because to me it looks like the rubber, it looks like the rubber one on the 25 is a little bit narrower than the plastic one on the 27. So I don't believe you'd be able to swap over the switches if you wanted to. Hopefully in the future, they'll have an option where you can get the rubber tail switches as opposed to these plastic ones. But that's about it. Other than that, it's a great light. I did not test submerging it because I have no real way of putting it out if there's a fire because of the battery. But I did wear it a lot for work. I've dropped it, I've thrown it. I've actually used it as a hammer twice on trying to get some pins lined up in some machinery. There is a mark somewhere on the back here for that. But cleans up really well. It's nice that it's not a super shiny case. So, you know, sometimes the cases on flashlights are like a gloss black. So if you're working where there's a lot of light and working in some kind of machinery and somebody's got a light above you, it would gloss out. This is a nice finish. It's smooth. It's got some nice curves to it. Again, it's got these nice little grippy sides on it. But my only complaint really is the lack of instructions on the back, and I preferred the rubber tail switches on the back, so it's easier to hit with gloves. Your finger doesn't slide off when it gets wet, or sweaty for that matter. But that is it. I will do a comparison between the EDC25 and the 27 at some point. Give probably a few weeks. But other than that, questions or comments, leave them below, and I will answer them as soon as I can. At the top of the description will be a link where you can get this at NiteCore. So I always take a look at that. I also have a playlist just of NiteCore gear, so if you're interested, all the NiteCore stuff is there. I think that's about it at the moment. Trying not to cough, sorry. It's trying to avoid. Excuse me. So questions, comments, leave them below. I will answer them as soon as I can. Take a look at the NiteCore playlist, and I'll have it linked somewhere up here as a tag somewhere, and it'll probably be on the end screen. But that is it. So thank you for watching, and have a glorious day.